Welcome to Western imperialism in Africa, Latin America, and Asia, 1869 to 1914. This is Melinda Klein. In 1877, the young British Empire builder Cecil Rhodes drew up his will and last testament. He left his fortune achieved as a diamond magnate in South Africa to two of his closest friends. He instructed them to use the inheritance to form a secret society with the aim of bringing about, quote, the extension of British rule throughout the world, promoting and perfecting immigration from the UK, and to encourage colonization of the whole of Africa, the continent of America, and the Middle East. While these ideas are far-fetched today, for their time they serve as a graphic reminder of the worldview and the character of imperial empires. Many of Rhodes' contemporaries went into the jungles of Africa and Asia to Christianize the heathen and promote trade while keeping the peace and extracting raw materials needed or desired by wealthy European and U.S. industrialists. In the 19th century, a new phase of Western expansion into Asia and Africa began. Before 1800, this was summed up as an exploration by Christians for spices. Now a new relationship took shape as European nations began to view Asian and African societies as a source of industrial raw materials and as marketplaces for Western manufactured goods. By the mid-1880s, Belgium, France, Germany, Great Britain, and Portugal engaged in a political and colonial feeding frenzy to seize a piece of African territory for themselves before it was all gone. The three C's are Christianity, commerce, and civilization. In this cartoon, Rhodes holds the imperial powers between the puppet strings connecting Cape Colony, later South Africa, and Egypt. His dream was to build a transcontinental railroad across Africa, connecting these two valued colonial areas. However, there remained a problem. German East Africa and the Belgian Congo lay in his path. In the 19th century, there became a relationship between colonialism and greatness. The only major clash between Europeans over African territory took place in southern Africa, where competition among the powers was almost non-existent. The discovery of gold and diamonds in the Boer Republic of the Transvaal prompted the attention of Cecil Rhodes and British interests in general. The miners were mainly British, with African laborers. Developers, headed by Rhodes, who was the Prime Minister of the Cape Colony at the time, subverted the Transvaal, bringing it under British rule. By the spring of 1871, after a trek through Africa for 8 months, Stanley found Dr. Livingstone. After such a find, he was, yes, a changed man. His popularity after his adventure reached the eyes and ears of an up-and-coming colonial leader, King Leopold II of Belgium. In time, King Leopold had his colony in Africa, the Congo. He amassed untold millions, while it is estimated that 10 million Congolese died by 1908 under this imperial rule in harvesting wild rubber. A similar process of imperial domination was going on in Egypt. By 1881, the British, who were the main travelers of the Suez Canal, stepped in to protect their investment interests. South of Egypt existed internal problems. Anti-British and Egyptian army revolutionaries grew in the Sudan. A famous attack by the British is remembered as the Battle of Omdurman in 1899. While private exploitation of raw materials was a common goal, along with opening up of markets for European manufactured goods, missionaries spread Christianity among Hindus, Muslims, and African pagans. But not all of the effects of British, French, and Dutch rule in Asia was negative. In India, under British rule, the Raj, British administrators, established a new school system, created colleges for women as nurses, and educated women in general to be better wives and mothers. The British ended, for the most part, the thieving custom in India, and also brought an end to the practice of sati. What did colonization bring? To mention a few examples, it brought peace, trade, and stability, and was good for industrial and third world economies. Social reactions did vary, but often common laborers reacted with migration to find better working conditions, wages, and housing. The Dutch Netherlands and their colony entrusted local administration of colonial aims to local landed elites who maintained law and order and collected taxes in return for payment. This is called indirect rule. This form of colonialism worked in some places for the British and also for the French in Indochina, in which they used both direct and indirect rule. However, across Asian colonies, internal conflict was common. Western-style schools created social anarchy because the common people became enlightened with Western ideas and practices. They tended to challenge the unquestioned rule of the powerful landed elite in continual control of politics and their government in general. A very important and influential book at this time brought the United States onto the world stage, titled The Influence of Sea Power Upon History. This book fit into American ideas about manifest destiny, urging expansion for the good of the world, a remnant of Massachusetts Puritanism to create a city upon a hill for the entire world to model, an 18th century American characteristic. The Mexican Revolution was a period of political, social, and military conflict beginning in 1910 and lasting until 1921. The Mexican Revolution should not be confused with the Mexican Civil War of the 1850s or the Mexican War for Independence of 1810 through 1821. The Mexican Revolution came right on the heels of the Spanish-American War at the end of the 19th century. Nations in the Americas followed two distinct paths. In Canada and the United States, former British colonies and heritage became manufacturing centers, created powerful corporations, and banking arose. In the former territories of Spain and Portugal, Latin America and the Caribbean, these nations exported raw materials and foodstuffs and imported manufactured goods. The building and use of the Panama Canal cut off 8,000 miles of sea travel between the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans, thus cost and time greatly reduced in shipping goods. The new imperialists were not traditional conquerors or empire builders like the Spanish conquistadors. Their aim was to extend their power over new territories and peoples, but also to control both the natural world and the indigenous societies more efficiently than had ever been done in the past.